All right, today in honor of Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be making buffalo chicken pot stickers. These are really similar to buffalo chicken pierogies if you've ever had those, or either one of them if you've never had either one of them. I usually make gluten-free pot stickers, and I use ground pork. Now I got ground chicken, so I'm going to use ground chicken for this. And I could just do the same recipe with the that I use for ground pork and use ground chicken instead, like with all the ginger and the garlic and all the seasoning that's in there. But what we have here is, this is real simple. You could get rotisserie chicken, you could get ground chicken. I got at Wegmans, I have buffalo style cheddar cheese spread. It's like buffalo chicken wing dip, but it's a little thicker. I'm going to mix this with a little honey and some shredded carrots and celery and some green onions and my homemade buffalo wing sauce. You could use any bottled buffalo wing sauce and a little bit of blue cheese. We're going to mix that all up in a bowl, and that's going to be our filling. And then I'm going to make the dough two ways. So I feel like this is more like a traditional way, gluten-free, is you can get rice flour, white rice flour, and tapioca flour, and I do like a cup and a half of this and a cup and half of this, and some and a thing of boiling water, and you put it in there and mix it up, and then add some flour till it gets nice and solid. But also, if you get the King Arthur brand gluten-free measure for measure flour, that flour is the main ingredient is rice flour. It's got white rice flour, brown rice flour, and it also has the tapioca starch in it. So I could just use this without having a cup and a half of this and a cup and a half of this. That's fine. This flour is a different way I make it. This is how I make the pierogies. This is the King Arthur brand gluten-free bread flour. Now, like I said, this one is rice flour mostly. This one has gluten-free wheat flour in it. So this, if you're making pierogies, this gives a more authentic pierogi flavor of that all-purpose flour made from wheat. If you go to a lot of Chinese restaurants, a lot of them might use the all-purpose flour, but if you go to a lot of traditional places or homemade places, they might be using the rice flour and the tapioca flour from scratch, just as is. Maybe some cornstarch too. So anyways, these are all going to be gluten-free, and you wouldn't even know the difference. You would think that these are the best pierogies, pot stickers, dumplings, wontons, whatever you want to call them. You'd think they're the best. But for dumplings and pot stickers, all we use is hot water and our gluten-free flour mixes. That's all you use. For pierogies, you put a little olive oil in there. It's all about the same thing. And they come out, when you taste them after they've been fried in the pan. Another thing with the pierogies is you fry them in butter instead of vegetable oil and steaming them. So that's the difference. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is I got my ground chicken. My ground chicken, 100%. You can see it's like mush. This is great to make if you want to make your own homemade chicken nuggets. This is great stuff for you. All right. I'm going to need half of this pack, probably. I got some seasoning. All right, so look, I got some Frank's Red Hot powder. I don't need this. If you live up by Buffalo, they also have buffalo chicken wing seasoning also. You could use something like that. That's the good thing about being in upstate New York, is if you want to make anything buffalo chicken, you got tons of ingredients at the grocery store you can pick up on a regular basis. So we're going to add some of that. I like to add a little chipotle for a nice little smoky flavor there. All this stuff I usually put in my wing sauce, but if you're using store-bought wing sauce, then you might want to add this. It adds a nice flavor to it. We got some ancho chili powder, a little ancho chili powder. I'm going to leave the cayenne chili powder off today because it's in here. And I got a little white pepper. Little white pepper. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so there's our seasonings that we're putting in there. And this, you can see Wegmans has these beautiful cheese spreads. This one's like a buffalo chicken wing dip that's not cooked. It's got shredded chicken in it. So I'm making this with the ground chicken, which I think is great for dumplings. You could also use canned chicken. If you want to make pierogies, you could use a canned chicken. This has like shredded chicken in it, cream cheese, Yancey's Fancy buffalo chicken wing dip, and some buffalo wing sauce. So we got all that stuff in there, and we're gonna add it all in there. No reason to save this for anything else. And there's cheddar cheese, cream cheese. So if I was just making this from scratch without this, I would be having cream cheese in there and some of the Yancey's Fancy buffalo wing cheddar cheese. But you could just use cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, and some Red Hot for that. So let's go ahead and put some of our homemade buffalo chicken wing sauce. I keep it in this jug. But there's a video on YouTube, you can see how I make my sauce, or you can just get a jar of buffalo chicken wing sauce from somewhere else. I know it's already in the chicken wing dip, but it's not enough for someone who loves buffalo chicken wings. I got some crunchy stuff here. I got some shredded celery to give it a nice crunch. I got some shredded carrots to give it a nice crunch. I got 2 cloves of garlic to give it a little flavor in there. And these are green onions. This gives it a crunch and some flavor, both. Alright, so I got all that stuff in there. And then you pick your favorite blue cheese. This one's good. This Maserati's blue cheese. Marzatti's. There's also Maria's. Now, the difference is this one's creamier, and the Maria's has a stronger blue cheese flavor. So you could also use ranch if you want to use ranch. You know, like Patrick Mahomes, he uses ranch on his chicken wings. So if you want to be like him, go right ahead. And then what we're going to do is, you don't have to do this, but we're going to add a little honey to this, and this really brings out the flavor a little bit, the little sweetness in there. When you get pot stickers, there's usually a little sweetness in the filling. And we're going to do this, so we got our buffalo chicken pot sticker filling. So there you go. This is everything that's in our filling. We're going to mix it up real good so that all these flavors mingle. And then we're going to wrap it with some saran wrap or cellophane or plastic wrap, whatever you call it. Look at this. It's a nice filling in there. Oh, it smells good. You can smell that chicken, so it's nice and chickeny. Now, I think the ground chicken goes better in pierogies than rotisserie chicken. I think the ground chicken goes better in pot stickers than the rotisserie chicken. You could use that canned chicken, but obviously the fresh chicken here is a lot more flavor in it. Just go ahead and make sure it's cooked all the way. I mean, one of the pluses if you're using rotisserie chicken or canned chicken is you don't have to worry about the chicken being cooked or not being raw. But I use raw pork, so I mean, if I use raw pork, why wouldn't I use raw chicken? It's the same thing, ground pork, ground chicken. They cook the dumplings the same way. So that's it. This is our buffalo chicken wing dip, or filling. I'm going to add just a little bit more wing sauce. Just a little bit more. I can just tell by the color it could use a little more kick. And then depending on how big a fan you are of wing sauce, when these are all cooked, you could dip it in some wing sauce and some blue cheese, or you could put a little ranch on top, or you can buy some, there's a buffalo ranch, if you ever had that. You can buy that at the supermarket and put that right on top too. Alright, so this is mixed up really good. Now we're just going to we're going to cover it, and we're going to let it sit while we make our dumpling dough. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna make this is how I like to make it. You could go online, and there's plenty of different ways to make dumpling or pot sticker dough. But this is the blend that I like the most. So I got 1 cup of the bread flour from King Arthur. Remember, this one has gluten-free wheat in it. And these measurements aren't really don't need to be specific at all. You can just make it all, like I said, you can make it all with this measure for measure flour if you wanted to. That's fine. You can make it all with the bread flour if you wanted to. That's fine. So now I got, I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of our gluten-free measure for measure flour. So that was 1 cup bread flour, 1/2 cup of measure for measure, both King Arthur's, and then this is Bob's Red Mill tapioca flour. So I'm going to do another 1/2 cup of that. I think I like the tapioca because when I make the first one, I used to make with just the rice flour and the tapioca flour. It has this gummy texture that I feel is like a more authentic. Like if you went to an authentic Chinese restaurant where they make them all from scratch. All right, so there's a 1/2 cup of our tapioca flour. Put these over here. All right, so that's it. Now we just add our boiling water. So I already have the water hot. So I'm going to mix up these. Gluten-free flours. These are all gluten-free. To me, this is like when I make pizza dough or I make anything. It's more of a, how sticky is it? What's the texture of the dough? So I'm gonna mix this up so that the flours are all nice and mixed together. And remember, if you're gonna make pierogies, you'd use that bread flour and then put some oil in there, and then use the boiling water there. Put some olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever you want to use, depending on how you make your pierogies. Sometimes put a little sugar in there, whatever. Everybody's got their own recipes because it's a homemade tradition thing. All right, so here's my boiling hot water. It's so hot it'll burn my hands, so I got stuff to mix it with. And I'm going to fill this up to 1.5 cups. And I might not use all that 1.5 cups. It all depends. We'll see. But I got more hot water if I need to. All right, so done with this silly thing. Now I got my boiling water. I got 1.5 cups. I go ahead and add half of that. See how it is. Add the other half. Not the other half yet. Almost. See, it's getting nice in there. All right. So I'm going to add that whole 1.5 cups of water. And like I said, I might add some more. It all depends. I don't want to stick my hands in here yet because that's boiling hot water and it takes a little bit. But this looks like it's doing good. You don't be fooled. It might look clumpy. Like I said, that's hot. It might look clumpy, but as it mixes in there with the flour, there we go. All right. So I got my hot kettle. Add a little bit more in here. That was probably 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup that I just added in there. There we go. That's starting to look like sticky dough. So it's what they call a give and take. You add. See, now this is too sticky, right? So now we're gonna get this. Well, maybe it's not too sticky. We'll see. And then we're gonna get. I'm gonna use because this is the cheapest one. My measure for measure gluten-free flour. That's my cheapest one. Done with this. Keep stirring this up so it stirs nice and even. And I want to get the stickiness out of it. It's sticky right now, see? Alright. So there's a magic spot between using all right, this should be okay now. I think I could use my hands now. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. All right, get that out of the way so you can see this. See, I'm working with it. And with this dough that has the gluten-free wheat and the tapioca flour and the what's it called? The this rice flour mixture. This one is not as sticky as when you use just the white rice flour and the tapioca flour together. That dough is very sticky. Whew, this is hot. Yeah, you could use something, utensils, to do this, but I just wait until it's at a temperature that I could touch it without getting scalded, and then I work with it. And this is looking great. Okay, see how it's not really sticking to my hands. There's a lot of flour that hasn't absorbed the water yet. Whew. Now it's getting sticky. See my thumb? It's getting sticky. All right, so now that I got it in there, mix it, and then this is the deal. You just keep doing this until it's not sticking to your fingers anymore. So there is the measure for measure flour. That's what I'm using to knead into it. And then you get to a point, like, you add it. You don't want to add too much, just a little bit. It starts to crumble apart. And then you could work with it. And then you start to feel the stickiness come back. You just keep working with it as much as possible. Whew. The sticky parts are the ones that are really hot from the boiling water. All right, this is looking good. All right. All right, I think that's good. Still got a little tackiness to it, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, because we're going to roll it out and still work with it. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to cover this up with a moist towel, a nice warm hot moist towel, and then we'll start rolling this out. All right, let's cover this up while we get our everything else ready so that it doesn't dry out. I'm going to use this for my board here. And I got this on Amazon, dumpling press, 20 bucks. It's got, this is to make empanadas, or I can make pizza puffs, or I can make, I made apple ham pies with this, just the same with pie dough. So it comes with 4 of these. It comes with my dumpling mat, the Magic Dumplings. And let's see. This is the pierogi one. So I got pierogies, empanadas, and then I got two types of dumplings. I'll use the green one. That's a decent sized dumpling. So what you do is you roll the dough flat for this. You put it in there, press it down, put the filling in, boop, and then you got your dumpling already made. And this is for little dumplings, I guess, for soup dumplings, wontons. Here's my buffalo chicken wing dip, not dip, but it's close to dip, filler. All right, just get a little piece of dough like this. See how good this dough is? I want to put down a little flour like you always do. When you roll out any doughs, whether it's pizza or whatever, you roll down a little dough. You know, there's they'll show you, like if you look online, Asian dumplings, they'll roll them out like this, a big long one, they'll cut in pieces, but there's nothing necessary about that. I just roll them like little meatballs, and then I put it down on the flour, and I just roll them out. If they stick, I flip them over, put them in the dough. See, now they're not sticking anymore. So this is perfect. This is perfect dumpling dough. Look at this. And what's great about this is, like when I used to make pierogies, we'd have a big old sauerkraut can, and then we'd have a big thing of dough, and we'd go like that, and then we'd cut out the sauerkraut, or that size of the sauerkraut can that we used, and that would be how big our pierogies were. So here we go. Look at this. Look at this. This is our dumpling dough. Look how good this is. Gluten-free. Look at that. Look how great that is. Okay? And it tastes, oh, it tastes so good. So this, I made it really big, but it doesn't make a difference, because what's going to happen is I put this in here, and then like I said, I pat that down so it has that divot or crater, and then you grab a couple of these little spoons if you want, and then you put in your filling. Look at that. And then watch this. You go, make sure you don't put too much filling in. You don't want it to squeeze out. Put a little bit too much, but that's okay. Then you pull this dough off. Oops. And there's the pocket. And then you open it up, and then you carefully scoop it out. And you get a nice little dumpling. Now this broke a piece off. That's okay. Put that there. And then we'll set all our dumplings on here. So let's go ahead and do that again. And then this time what we'll try to do is not put too much filling in. It's not bad for a first one. Always make sure you flour your rolling area. Alright, so there we go. Put that in there. Flip it over. It's got too much. If it's too sticky, you just keep flipping it over on your flour. And remember, I'm using the measure for measure flour now because it's not as expensive as the bread flour. The bread flour I buy, this flour is at all the grocery stores, even at BJ's, Costco, places like that, Wegmans, Tops, all has this measure for measure King Arthur brand flour. But that bread flour, I'm going to show you this bread flour again. I buy this, it's the same price. I buy it online at the King Arthur, and they ship it to you. You got to pay for shipping. But I'll buy like 4 or 5 bags of these things because I like to use this for pizza, especially if I'm making a Chicago deep dish pizza or Detroit style pizza. I use this. There's a 00. There's a 00 for Neapolitan pizza from King Arthur brand. That's what I use for Neapolitan pizzas or just regular New York style pizzas. But if I'm making a Chicago style pizza, I use this bread flour because especially deep dish in Detroit's are more like really bready, deep bready pizzas. All right, so here we go again. Spoons. Try not to put too much in. That's good. Then we close it up. I got these spoons fell in there, so I gotta wash my hands. And you don't want to press this too hard because you don't want these ridges to be too thin or they'll break like you saw. There we go. This one's gonna hopefully, let's see. Keep my fingers crossed. There we go. You see that? That is a beautiful dumpling. And if I was using the bigger ones, it could be an empanada, it could be a pizza puff, or it could be a pierogi. Here's the pierogi one. They all have the same type of press. Alright, and we just keep working this until we get all these dumplings. So I'm going to make these for dinner tonight. But for right now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to make 4 of these and eat them, just so you know. And then we'll be done with this video. All right. Looks good, looks good. There it is, it's in there. You give it a press, boop. This one doesn't have too much in there. You see the dough, you pull the dough off. And then you open it up again. Look how nice it is. And you go, oh my goodness, look how beautiful that dumpling is. So now we have our 4 dumplings. But this little piece of dough, I'm going to throw this dough out. It's got some stuff in it. All right. So now let's go ahead and cook our dumplings, okay? Okay, so now we're going to cook the pot stickers. So I got my dumplings, pot stickers we're going to call them. I got some vegetable oil. Put a little vegetable oil in the pan. Oh, I also want to tell you, we didn't do this. All I made was the buffalo ones, but you could just scoop this in there. This is garlic and herb cheese spread. It's cream cheese and garlic and herbs and other stuff in it, and cheddar cheese. And then this one's artichoke and Asiago cheese. Now you could get some instant mashed potatoes, and you could mix these up with the instant mashed potatoes and make the most delicious potato pierogies in the world using these cheese spreads. That's all you need is like instant mashed potatoes. You can make regular mashed potatoes, but you could use instant mashed potatoes and then mix it up with that cheese spread. Just put it in there. It's so good. All right, so I got my vegetable oil on there. Turn this on high so it gets nice and hot. I got a little piece of dough here. See it sizzling? That's good. I turn this down to medium. We'll go ahead and put these pot stickers in there. There's the first one we made. Move the oil around so it coats all the parts that are there. 1 minute. Timer. 1 minute. 1 minute on one side, and I like to flip it. I like to get it brown on both sides. I know a lot of I used to work at a Chinese restaurant, and we cook them on one side and flip them over, cook them on the other side, and then we add the water. A lot of places you put the dumpling in, and all you do is leave it on one side. You let it cook for 1 minute, and then you add the water to steam it, and then you close it up for 6 minutes. But I like that. I don't know, maybe because I've eaten a lot of pierogies in my life, so I like pierogies. You put them in a pan of butter and you cook them on one side and you flip them over and cook the other side. So that's the pierogi lover in me. I got the timer on for 1 minute. Make sure that it's nice and coated well. All right, that's 1 minute. Flip it over. There we go. And then we put the timer on for another minute. For this side. Now you might be like, oh, you know, usually when I get pot stickers, it's really crispy brown on one side. And that'll be this side that it's on right now. This is just cooked a little bit on this side. But when I put the water in and put the top on, the other side will keep cooking and it'll get nice and brown, golden brown on the other side. You could put, like the first side if you wanted, you could put it for 2 minutes on one side and then flip it if you wanted. If you want it nice golden brown on both sides, but that's fine with me. I don't need that. Alright, spend 1 minute on one side, I spend 1 minute on the other side. You add a cup of water, and I could have more pierogies. You just don't want the pierogies touching each other because the gluten-free dough is sticky, so you pull it apart and it falls apart on you. So here we go. So now we got this. I'm going to turn it down to low while I do this, and then I'll turn it back up to medium because this is going to be a little bit of a mess here. Watch this. Don't burn yourself. All right, timer, 6 minutes. Turn it back up to high. And now in 6 minutes, these amazing pot stickers will be done and they'll be ready to eat. Okay, turn this off. This has been 6 minutes. Look at these guys. Let's see. Oh, you see? I'm gonna flip these over so you see the side, the other side. Oh boy. Look at this. These are pot stickers. And then the, what's it called? The steam. Cooked the dumpling, cooked all the rest of it. Look at those markings on those pot stickers. Oops. Slippery little suckers. Alright, we'll put these back just the way they were. Dry side down. Ooh. Ooh. Pot sticker side down. Move that over so no one gets burned. Alright, these are too hot right now, so I'll let it cool down a little bit and we'll make some magic sauce. You can just put ranch on it. You can buy buffalo ranch. There's all types of ranch. You can buy any sauce you want. You can get Thai sauce. You just put buffalo sauce on it. This is Marie's chunky blue cheese. And like what I said, is this blue cheese, or this blue cheese dressing has a really strong blue cheese flavor to it. It's really good. Some people, maybe if you're from the South and you never ate blue cheese before, you might not want it. You might want to use ranch. Gonna cut it with that sharpness with a little honey. You could use Mike's hot honey if you want. You want to get fancy, you could use Mike's hot honey. But I got wing sauce I'm gonna put in this. And this is, so I'm gonna put a little honey on top. Just a drizzle. That's good. Just to give it some. And then I got my homemade wing sauce. You go on YouTube and you could watch that video if you want to make this, or you can buy any type of wing sauce in a jar. And I'm putting just like a tablespoon of wing sauce in there. And then we mix it all up. So when we go out on Monday Night Football, this is what we dip our French fries in. This stuff is the best. You got the leftover wing dip sauce, all that wing sauce from the wings and the blue cheese, and then you take your French fries and then you just dip it right in there. Oh, it's so good. All right. Oh, that's fantastic. That is just great. All right, these are probably still going to be hot. Go ahead and grab your favorite pair of chopsticks, or use a fork, whatever you're most comfortable with. Let's try these suckers out. I think I'll start with this one here. Let's take a look at this. Oh, so look at that. That's nice. Give it a little dip. Oh. Oh my God. That is so great. It tastes like an authentic pot sticker. That ground chicken tastes just like ground pork. Same texture. Oh, so good. I'm sorry, it's good, but it's hot. Really hot. Look at that. So, you don't have to cook it on both sides, but it gives it just a little more of the, I don't know what you call it, the crispness. So if you don't cook this side, it's really gummy, which is fine. And then this side is nice and crisp. Sometimes I'll do 2 minutes so that it looks like this on both sides type of thing, but it's so good. Oh my goodness. I want to cut it with a knife so you can see what the inside looks like. Oh, look at that. This is a buffalo chicken pot sticker. And if you've never had one before, it is gluten-free. Oh my goodness. You need to eat this. It's delicious. Should be at every restaurant. Come back when I'm making the pierogies. Oh, so good.